The Lake Forest Podcast is supported by viewers, listeners, and businesses just like you. Looking for the best pool supplies? Look no further than Dohany's Pool Supplies. With a history dating back to 1967, this family-owned business offers everything families need to keep their pools clean and sparkling, from chemicals to equipment. Plus, customers enjoy free shipping on all orders. Visit Dohany's Pool Supplies today at doheny.com, DOHENY.com, to learn more. Broker Michelle Parno has lived and worked in Lake Forest for over 2 decades. Michelle's lending experience, when combined with her real estate expertise, makes her an invaluable asset to her clients as they navigate their home buying or selling process. Call Michelle now at 847-528-8721, 847-528-8721. For the best cannabis in the world, look no further than Iliad Epic Grow. Owned by Lake Bluff's own Rich Ruzich, they are a cannabis cultivation center focusing on hard-to-find small batch products that will delight both the occasional user and ganjier. When visiting Michigan, ask for it by name. Epic Products, exceptional process. For more information, email info@iliadgrow.com. Laracy & Company CPAs, founded in 2010 by Lake Forest's own Brian Laracy, specializes in tax preparation and bookkeeping services. Earning the People Love Us on Yelp award, their process is straightforward. Just upload, review, and file. For a free quote, visit LaracyCPA.com now. That's LARISEYCPA.com. I'm excited to share with you something special from our Lake Forest community, the Aesthetic Lounge Med Spa, located at 775 North Bank Lane in Lake Forest near Wisconsin Avenue. This just isn't any spa. They offer an amazing blend of traditional spa services plus the added benefit of medical procedures and treatments. In a relaxing and luxurious spa environment, you can enjoy a range of cosmetic and aesthetic treatments. These are all performed under the supervision of top medical professionals. The Aesthetic Lounge Med Spa provides skin care, facial rejuvenation, body contouring, laser hair removal, Botox, dermal fillers, chemical peels, and much more. What's great is that each treatment is tailored not just to enhance your appearance, but also to address specific skin concerns and to promote overall well-being. So if you're looking to pamper yourself and take your beauty routine to the next level, give the Aesthetic Lounge Med Spa a call at 224-768-8028 or visit them at their location on North Bank Lane. It's an experience your skin will thank you for. We'd also like to say we're thankful for our Patreon supporters, Otto, John C., Helen, Herrick, and J.M. Joe Weiss.
Good morning.
Check your email.
What have we sent now?
A strategic email was just sent to us.
We'll find a different room in the house for the show.
Anything's better than the basement.
Oh, see. For follow-ups. Attach the invoice and cost. So it's actually 20,000?
Yeah.
Is that what he's saying? I do understand some think any investment is a waste, and while I respect that view, I also see the need to create visibility and context to the significant amount we are spending to allow for transparency. Well, everybody loves that word, transparency.
At least they addressed the mascot.
I have no idea where this has come from, but I wanted to simply say there's not been any effort during it.
Well,
okay. That's good. That's good news that he he's going to keep the scout.
Then why
are they have term limits for the Lake Forest School Board like they do the city council? Because he's in his second term.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's 2 or 3 terms, two or three 2-year terms. Well, if that's the case, then why is it disappearing on the website? I said, hey man, I replied back and said, hey man, we should have a meeting at the Lantern. We'll mention this stuff on the show today.
I'm down with meeting with him. But and having him back on, my thought is, and we talked a little bit about it last week, who works for who over there? I mean, it seems like you want to rely on your professional staff, right? You don't want to micromanage the day-to-day activities of your school district, just as you don't want the mayor and the council micromanaging the day-to-day activities of the city. But that said, a lot of the policy comes from the elected officials. All right. When we don't elect a school superintendent, we don't elect a city manager. We elect school board members. We elect aldermen. We elect mayors. Okay. And they set the policy. And I think at the city, they're doing it right. Okay. And the proof is in the pudding that this is just an excellent run city with a very low, the lowest municipal tax rate in Lake County. Now, over at the school district, there's a lot of questions. And
when you say a lot of questions, you have a lot of questions, or people are reaching out to you?
I think you've had questions. Yes and yes. And look, you've asked questions, Pete, over the years.
Well, I do. Right? I'm the guy.
You're a taxpayer. You have a right to ask it.
Yeah.
Paying the bill.
I'm the guy that doesn't know what's going on, but I go out and find out the information. And
sure.
I heard things in the bar, and the guys came on the show. We were, on a time crunch, and they just sent us an email here, which we will address. But look, man, I don't know nothing about no school districts. I know a lot about video.
Well, and that, okay, so the Mascot issue, let's put that to rest. I'll take him at face value. I hope that
hold on,
staff.
You're responding to we were just sent an email. We record the shows on Wednesday, 9:30, and this came in at what time? 9:29 a.m.
9:29.
Strategically sent. But we will address it. Because it came from the official email addresses, so this is all foilable. So
Here's the invoice for under the hard hat, or as we refer to it as Bob the Builder.
Yeah, that was 20 grand, so it wasn't 30 or.
Okay, it's 20 grand. That's 20 grand too much. Okay, and he addresses that in here. He says, I understand some people will. To me, the issue is I have a problem with tax dollars being spent for campaigns. Okay.
Now, when you say he said, that's John Noble that sent the email CC.
Correct. President of the school board.
Right.
The school board, he's elected as a school board member, and then the board elects him the president. And he was a guest, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
With Dr. Montgomery, the superintendent. But I just, you want people to know what's going on in the school. You have a communications person, Ms. Oakley, and I don't have a problem. When I was on the board, we had a communications person, and she did a good job every day of highlighting everything going on in the school district. And when the chess team made the state finals and all those good things that happen at your school, those are things the community should know about. So I have no problem with hiring a communications employee. What I do have a problem with is going outside to get a vendor for $20,000, $10,000, $1,000, $100 to essentially do what is political propaganda to get the board reelected, in light of the fact that a lot of people in this community are upset that their taxes are going to go up. Okay, that referendum passed by the narrowest of margins, 100 votes.
It's our fault.
There was no organized campaign against it.
My fault.
And mine too. But as a result of that, I'm telling you, there is going to be a lot of anger when people get their bills in the mail, because Lake Forest is known for low property taxes. All right. And people are going to take it out on Randy Tack. They're going to take it out on the caucus, and the caucus and Mayor Tack and the council had nothing to do with it. It's the school board.
Well, the taxes, even with the referendum, will still be low, but doesn't mean we need to spend money we shouldn't. Look, my beef on the videos are, we tout Stephen Douglas, his team, his skills, his new media team. You have somebody that's right there. Are you telling me you can't do something that? What did he say? What did John say in the email there? He said, "Well, we can learn from this." You got the teacher there. You got, what's the actor that he's buddies with? Vince Vaughn?
Vince Vaughn.
Yeah, okay. So you got that guy. Are you telling me you can't use him for this stuff or he won't be as good as this 20,000? Hey, you know what? Give Douglas a 5 grand bump and have him do the videos. How, right? Just saying.
I, I've always had a philosophical issue with tax dollars being spent for what is essentially promoting a political agenda. And during the referendum campaign, I had a problem with all the mailers that came. Yeah. Okay, if it was from the Vote Yes committee, which raised private funds, that's fine. But if it came from the high school district paid for with our tax dollars, so you're using our tax dollars to promote a campaign to raise our taxes. I have a problem with that. Always have, always will.
Okay. So then, okay, what's our solution here? Do we go to the school board meetings and we time our 3 minutes and we go up and
that's
Jansons Forest podcast.
I did 8 years of school board meetings. Thanks, but no thanks. I don't want to sit through any more. I'll sit through city council meetings. I don't want to sit through any more school board meetings. I mean, look, I will say this about John and all the other board members. It is thankless being on that board. Okay. You don't get paid a dime. And I think John is doing what he thinks is best. I really do. I'll give him that. I just have
like
some
John.
Disagreements with him. He
seems
like a good guy. Yeah.
I like John. I
think he should have a little more control over what his employee, the superintendent, goes off and does, because I think he created a whole bunch of problems for him.
Yeah,
he didn't need to do.
Well, you brought up.
I mean, we touched that issue a lot. I
know, but is it insubordination? I don't know. We don't. John, Matt, we'll bring you back on. Okay,
I listened to them on the. It took me several hours to get through it because I kept falling asleep. But I listened to them on the NPR Lake Forest podcast that is recorded in Lake Bluff, and
here's the Lake Bluff podcast.
I think he did say, look, he said something to the effect of, we didn't want him to do it, but we stand with him doing it. So,
all right,
okay.
Fine. All right.
But that's damage control, and they're trying to show a unified front and
all that.
Probably because of reaction to us and me saying that's insubordination, because in my book, it is. All right.
Okay.
I've seen superintendents fired for less in other places. So,
okay. So, one of the school board people dropped down.
Marcus,
the alleged socialist, Marcus Schabaker.
I don't know these guys. I'm gonna. You know them better than me, because you worked on their election 4 years ago.
Well, no, there's a lot of social media posts out there that people have sent me that. Definitely.
He's a socialist.
Allegedly.
I don't know. Look, if you're gonna run for office or be involved in a campaign at all, can I suggest you either delete all your social media, or
your wife's social media,
your third cousin's social media, because in this world of gotcha, they're gonna get you. All right, and I've seen great campaigns get completely derailed by a stupid social media post the last few years. So, and it shines a light because it shows your true colors, right? If you're going to post, I don't know what he posted, so I can't. I don't want to.
He didn't post anything. The stuff that I'm getting is that his wife posts a lot of stuff out there. So
that's a tough one, because look, husbands and wives don't always agree on things. I mean, look at James Carville and Mary Matlin. If you go back in time, he was the big Clinton strategist, and she was the Bush strategist.
Let's get past that. But why would he just all of a sudden resign?
I don't know, unless they're trying to get people. Sometimes people resign like a year before an election to give someone a chance to get on and have the power of incumbency when they run for re-election. We had that a couple of times with the mayor of Morton Grove, where about a year before the election, the mayor would resign and there'd be a new mayor.
All right.
So
Here,
that's a
you hit the bell
strategy.
this time. Hit the bell.
Allegedly.
Okay. Allegedly.
We need Lesser back as a lawyer billing us by the hour here.
No, we don't. Uh,
Enjoying
enjoy AZ.
Arizona.
Enjoy
God,
Arizona,
he's
Lester.
probably at Ho-Ho-Cam Park today watching the Cubs.
Uh, but no, what what I hear happening is that the certain things that have happened, he is the odd man out on the board. Because supposedly he's the one that brings up issues on spending, and so that could
Yeah,
be.
well, hey man, if you could go find old news clippings back
Yeah,
in the day with me,
yeah.
you will find the board voted 6-1 or the board voted 5-2. Sometimes it was 4-3. Okay. I was one of those. I was the guy saying, hey, wait a minute.
Marcus, we
And
started.
I took a lot of crap. I took a lot of crap from the teachers union. I took a lot of crap from the administrators, some of the fellow board members. I mean, it's not easy if you have serious concerns to stand up, and there is peer pressure. And like I said, being on a school board is a thankless job.
Oh
All
God.
right. I mean, it's unpaid. It's hours and hours of your time. And so I can see where somebody just says, I got other things to do.
Dr. Schabaker,
He comes on.
I
Come
was
on the
with you in
show.
the early days. We had to do a couple of interviews with him because a bunch of people were throwing stuff out there. I don't even remember if it was true. All alleged. But we started this show with he was one of the first ones on the show to talk about stuff, and then the opposition party Let's Do Better campaign, I think that's what it was saying stuff about him, and he came on and cleared it up. And Doc,
Maybe
you
you
want
can
to
come
come
on
on?
now. Come on.
Come on.
Give a an exit interview now that you're off the you can speak your mind. We'll let you go unedited.
Hey man, we'll put the big old red letters on her, unedited, swears and all. All
We're
right,
known for that.
so anything else in that email we want to bring up?
I mean, having just read it, I think I'm happy to hear that they don't want to touch the mascot. I hope the administration, I don't know who works for who over there, but I hope the faculty isn't trying to do this, and I hope the board comes to its senses, because I think this is a really, really dumb issue, and it's going to waste a lot of oxygen in this community.
When when you take
I think he
over,
agrees with that based on what he said in the email.
I get it, but I judge them by what they do, but not what they say. Because when you go to the high school website, it looks like a morphing going on. The one campaign, the yellow diamond,
Yeah.
LF.
I was last week I was in Florida with my son for his college spring break, and we went to an Atlanta Braves spring training game there. And you know what they're doing at the Braves
Yeah,
game, the fans.
yeah.
But what's interesting, my son noticed this, and I thought about it more and more. It's the fans doing it. The Braves don't play the music anymore. At least they didn't that day. All right. Now the Braves were losing the game. Not that spring training games matter, but they were losing the game badly to Tampa Bay. And so maybe there wasn't a moment where they would get the crowd fired up, because it's spring training and you're down like 4 runs or whatever it was. But I noticed that it's the fans that are spontaneously doing the chop. And it's not the Braves playing it on the PA system. So I'm wondering if their corporates are thinking, oh, we got to get rid of that tomahawk chop.
Joe, I'm not thinking about,
even though the Kansas City Chiefs do it too. But
it's not about the fans, dude. It's about the corporate. Remember BP Amoco?
Yeah.
Okay, so BP bought Amoco, British company, bought an American company. And what happened to the logo over time? How'd they do it? They just do it overnight?
They did it overnight. I remember because we had
no,
the sign. They did it with us in Morton Grove, because I remember the sign the sign board or whatever they were called had to hear very quickly the sign change for the gas station on Dempster Street that was going from Amoco to BP, and they were like, "You have to do this like now."
When there's a takeover, the brand, the logo
gradually
morphs. It morphs.
Yeah.
So I'm just
Look
saying,
at United and Continental, how they changed that whole United Airlines logo, right?
So, hey guys, we'll bring you back on. You can say we're full of it. We're here at the bar, go
Well,
ahead.
I'm more concerned about the money being spent.
Yeah.
Okay. The mascot is what it is. And if they want to, if somebody's dumb enough to take on that issue,
Okay.
good luck and Godspeed, because this community will fight you like you never seen. But the tax thing and the money thing, I got a problem with, okay?
Yeah.
I hope they're handling screening of employees, that incident with the cafeteria worker, whatever, that's in the past. Okay. I just hope I wish they could retroactively do background checks on every single employee now, like they can new hires. That said,
We don't know if they can or can't on that.
I don't know. But that said, I am far more troubled as a taxpayer, because whether you have kids in school or not, we all pay taxes there. You pay taxes there, even though you don't have any kids in the school. I am far more concerned about this tax increase that didn't have to happen. You could have had all these nice new facilities and done it, financed it in a way that our taxes wouldn't have gone up. Okay, so don't make it like, oh, it was for the children and the building was crumbling and we needed to do this. If we didn't do this, the building would fall apart. There were options for you to do this. There were options for you to finance it differently. People who are much smarter in public finance than me explained it to them. They can deny it all they want. But the fact of the matter is they knew the options. They went this route. Not sure why, because they won a referendum by 100 lousy votes with no organized campaign against it that would have beaten it.
Well, what he's saying,
I'm telling you, when people get the bill, look at the election this week in Chicago. The city of Chicago defeated a property tax that Brandon Johnson's Bring Home Chicago or whatever it was, which was it was a tax on mansion sales, just on mansion sales of $1 million or more. That went down. Okay, some of that's on Brandon Johnson because nobody likes him.
Get back to the referendum.
I'm just saying, taxes is a potent issue here.
Yeah, no,
people don't like taxes.
Okay, it's beyond the taxes. It's the way it was financed, because what they say in that show, they reaped another 16 million by putting that thing, getting a lump sum.
Yeah, well, they could.
Where does that 16 million go? Can we have that back, please?
Well, obviously, some of it's going for these Bob the Builder videos.
No, but seriously, it was 105 million. If they made 15 million on the 105, can we have that back? Fair ask.
You never get it back. Yeah, no, they should. What they should do is do a property tax rebate on it.
So that's,
they won't. I guarantee. I'll bet you dinner at your at Sophia that they won't do it.
I know they won't do it, but people behind the scenes are pissed about the way they financed it. Okay. So
I'm in front of the scenes right now and I'm pissed about how they did it.
Well, okay. Well, I wouldn't be pissed if I would give me that 15 million back. Why do they get it?
Because they can.
Okay.
Because they teach you at these school board and school. I used to go to those school board meetings, school board conventions in Chicago and then nationwide, and they teach you how to milk everything you can out of the tax levy and out of the referendum.
Yeah, but how do we fix it?
They call it tax to the max. They call it tax to the max.
Yeah, I know. Okay, 100. They said they needed 105, not 106, not whatever it is. It was 105, right? Okay. We said, here's your 105. Oh, you want to take it that way? Great. We get the benefit of the interest. How do we fix that?
We should.
Okay.
You elect a different board. That's how you'd fix it.
Okay.
Or make the current board come to their senses on it because they're running for re-election.
Well, that's the big issue behind the scenes that people are pissed about. Besides spending the extra $1,000, it's the way they took it all at once. There was cheaper ways they could have got the money. Okay. That's something legitimate for part 2 if those guys want to come back on. Because when is that? That's going to hit next month at
April. I don't know exactly when. I'm told April.
Okay.
So
Holly Kim was too busy putting
mail carriers beware. You're going to get attacked by people opening their mail with the property tax bill.
Okay, St. Patrick's Day. Saw Mary Gerhards. I hear you got cheesecake here?
I do, honey.
Where?
This is our classic New York style, like creamy
Oh.
cheesecake. And down here, it's done today with Door County
Oh,
cherries.
Mary, absolutely.
Mwah.
The model from Miami.
Little
Oh, that she was humming along. She was fired up. She had her Miami tan going on. She had her she had her Greek Jewish accent going. I want to go to Florida. I want to go to Miami. I had to go to it's like going to a car dealership. I had to go to the finance room to get authorization to buy one of the cakes there, but it was
Oh, stop.
good.
It's worth every penny.
I just said it was. It was just
I'll get the crap at the usual grocery store.
Yeah, Edmonds.
Cakes.
Edmonds.
Ugh.
Edmonds rocks at the Jewels. But no, she was doing great. Then we stopped by where do we see? We saw FAHD at Deerpath. He was hey, FAHD, man, open that bar at 3:00. Why is it gonna be 4:00, man? But I understand, trying to contain costs, but it's like the minute that Red Barrister goes for the bar down there, it's like a Who concert trying to get to that bar.
Oh no. In Cincinnati. Oh no.
And they had a nice little fancy drink there that was good. I didn't partake,
No green beer for you this year?
No. Well, it's like New Year's Eve and rookies,
Yeah.
let the
It's
kids
true.
have that. So we stopped by there, said hello to FAHD and everybody at the Fine Deerpath Inn, and then we stopped by to see Ed over at the Lantern, and one of our loyal listeners and watchers was there, Chris. How you doing, Chris? He's one of these guys, I forget. I think he had a big old, I'm putting a picture up here. He had a big old leprechaun hat, and big fan of the show. He said to say hello to you as well.
Thanks, Chris. Hello. Sorry I couldn't be there. I was 1,000 miles away with my son.
You were getting your suntan lotion going.
Yeah, really worked
And
out
then
there.
Heart of Glass killed Lombard. Oh, what a great show. Band's cooking. It's cooking. And I'll put all the shows here.
Mickey Finn's. I think if anybody wants to see it, Mickey Finn's is a no-brainer if you can make that night, because it's like a 10-minute drive.
That's in July, but the schedule it's filling up, and then August, all the music people in town here. I forget the guys we used to have on the show here that we helped out all the time. So do you remember their names? Let's see. The treasurer's Joe Aridi, and who's the music guy, Joe?
Who is the music guy?
Rick.
Oh, Rick. Oh, he's more than just the music guy. He's the czar of the whole deal.
Yeah.
Rick's a good guy.
Yeah, Rick. Hey, man.
Why don't you put in a tape? Why don't you ask him what are the procedures? Do you have to audition? Do you submit a tape? How do you?
I don't know, but if we're good enough to play in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and Pierogi Fest in Indiana,
Do you think the transparency people would be out there with picket signs protesting? Prue Beidler would be standing there with, saying no to Pete Jansons.
Pete sucks. Pete
hey,
sucks.
Hey, ho, ho. Pete Jansons has got to go.
Hey. Love us, hate us, rate us. People watch, people listen, people love the blondie. Just saying. So it's a good show had by all. The new police station.
Yeah. Where's that? Where's it going to be?
That police station is old as you, dude.
That's old. Yeah.
69. It was put there.
That's the year I was born, sir. It's, I think one of the things we always talked about here is the three things you need to do right, and they do right here in Lake Forest: police, fire, public works, right? Those are the things everybody uses them, right? Everybody wants good cops.
Yeah.
Well, most everybody, other than people that support Eric Rinehart. But good cops, good firemen, firefighters, and you want your street plowed when there's snow and the streets, all the stuff that the Public Works Department does. Those are the things that every single taxpayer utilizes and cares about. And in Lake Forest, we get our money's worth. Police station is, modern policing has evolved, and the training and all the stuff these guys do that what was once probably okay, needs to be upgraded. They need more space. I mean, you drive around to some of these other communities and you'll see newer police facilities, so you can see what they can do, and it helps them. It helps them train. It gives, they need space to do their work, the detectives, all that stuff that goes into policing.
1969.
It's like Dragnet.
Wasn't
that when Dragnet was on, or Adam 12?
You're going to put
what were the cop shows back then?
You're putting 105 million in a school that only houses 1,400 kids, and you can't take care of the coppers here? Come on.
Well, it's two different government entities, but yeah,
Whatever.
we should, I think, and look, and Lake Forest will do it right. They will do it in a way that doesn't raise our taxes. They'll do it within existing funds. They'll figure out how to finance it properly, so we don't get a big sticker shock like some other communities have gotten when they had to build new police or fire stations. So it just remains, where is it going to be? But I'm sure there'll be lots of meetings to discuss that. And
plastic. Are they going to have plastic bottles there? So yeah, we got our crap together here at the city council. I tell you what, did you see that city council meeting for Lake Forest Monday?
No, I missed it. I blinked my eye. It was over.
Not even a blink. 11 minutes. Zerniak's looking back at the clock. I think the record was 10 minutes. I'm like, because I had band.
I'm telling you, George Pandelian is sitting at home. Former Mayor George Pandelian, jealous as all can be. Of like, oh my gosh, Randy gets a 10-minute meeting.
Yeah, I mean, just do a Zoom.
No, we don't want to go back to that. But
why not?
Well, it took them longer to park their cars and walk in than it did for the meeting.
Well, in contrast, that look at Hoobler and the city councilor.
In Highland Park. Yeah. So he resigned as a city council member in Highland Park. Something to do with the Illinois Liquor Control Commission weighing in on this or something?
Well, you have a state liquor license and you got local, and the state was alleged. It's not alleged. It's something about, under the ethics side of things, you can't hold a liquor license and be in public office. Long story short.
Well, let's just remember who's the governor of this state and who appeared in one of his campaign ads when he ran for re-election.
Who, Joe?
J.B. Pritzker is the governor, and in one of his campaign re-election commercials.
On July 4th, my community saw the face of evil. The magnitude of the devastation will last for years. But with the work of public safety personnel, the support of Governor Pritzker, and so many others, the people of Highland Park are finding strength in the aftermath of trauma. But even as the shooter was still at large, Darren Bailey said it was time to move on. And he raised funds for his campaign, raffling off assault weapons like the one used here. Darren Bailey has no business being our governor.
Highland Park Mayor Nancy Rotering is in the commercial. So you don't think? I mean, come on, this is Illinois. You know how things roll in this state over the years, right? Connect the dots.
Yeah.
And they just keep going after this guy. What has he done to deserve this crap?
The most votes.
The most votes. Yeah, well, I guess, I mean, are they that scared of him? I guess so.
So do you still say that her career's over?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do. Well, she just got elected as a delegate to the Democratic National Convention from the 10th District for Joe Biden, along with our guest a couple of weeks ago, Anthony Vega. They're two of the delegates. I can't remember who the other one was. Obviously, that's a perfunctory thing. But if she,
that means,
she may just going through the motions, right?
Okay, thank you.
So it's quicker to say perfunctory. But
The factory.
so but I think if she were to ever run for anything else like Congress or state legislature, she'd be dead. And I have some friends who are Democrats who've told me that she is unelectable. Now, the question always was, they figured, well, she could keep getting reelected in Highland Park. But as mayor, because nobody seemed to care about that. But now that she's took this hoobler thing, she's rattled a lot of people in that city who are Democrats. Let's be honest. Highland Park is overwhelmingly, it's a vote blue no matter who community. I mean, you know, you take the most liberal Republicans that have ever won, like Jim Thompson and Jim Edgar, they lost Highland Park.
It's Democrat and Jewish.
Yeah,
oh,
well, it has nothing to do with being Jewish.
Oh,
there's
it
a lot
is,
of
but
Jews.
they are.
There's a lot, sir, there's a lot of Jews that are seing the light and voting Republican because of what the Democrats are doing with Israel, but that's another show. So I think she's in trouble for this if she decides to run for mayor again, but she's in like her third or fourth term. This is why we need term limits, okay? This is why Lake Forest does it right and Highland Park does it wrong. You need term limits because there shouldn't be like that other council member that wore the bow tie at that one meeting lecturing, in my 3 or 4 by 18 years on this council, I mean, you shouldn't be in office that long. All right. I imposed my own term limits myself when I was back in the day. 12 years was 8 and 4. 12, that was enough. Okay. I knew when to get out. But a lot of people, they just hang on, and she's hanging on. And that's bad. I mean, we've seen what happens when people are in power too long. They become drunk with power. Yeah. And that's a great example. They're picking on a small business. And, you know, hey, Pete, I keep forgetting to bring this up every time we talk about hoobler. But I want, because a lot of people are saying, hey, you're the Lake Forest podcast. Why you guys keep talking about some business in Highland Park? And we've talked about the connection between Prue Beidler and Nancy Rotering of the donations and the support of each other over the years. But I think another point is when Prue was running for mayor, you, sir, did this city a great favor by exposing a horrible incident at Gerhards. We just talked about Mary a few minutes ago, where Prue Beidler and Susan Garrett, former state senator, threatened Mary because she had the audacity to have a Randy tax sign in her window. And there were several other small businesses in Lake Forest that received similar threats from Prue and Sue, and you brought it to light, and Scu did too, when he was on with you. So
it's hard to not. It's right in my face.
Yeah, and I think I've talked to a lot of people that's what lost their vote for Prue. That they said, look, I like Prue, I like Randy, it's, you know, it doesn't really matter. And then when they heard that, they're like, how dare they? How dare they go after small businesses like that? But you're seeing the same thing now with Highland Park. All right, the same gang, okay, Prue Beidler, Susan Garrett, Nancy Rotering, they're going after the little guy, the little person. They're going after the small business owner. Okay, it's one thing you want to take on Walmart and the Fortune 500 companies. Nobody cares about that, right? But you don't go after the local baker. You don't go after the local brewer. Okay.
You go after the local podcast guys.
We're the only podcast recorded in Lake Forest. Remember that. That other one is exported in from Lake Bluff. All right. So don't listen to
liberals
with the town that has a French mayor.
Liberals
can't even say Lake Bluff right.
So we had the vote yesterday, Joe. I didn't early voted the day of, and sure enough, I just walked in with my ID just like this, and I just handed it to them.
Can't do that.
Yeah, you can.
Oh, you can, but they're not supposed to.
No,
the law.
Vegas second do that. Remember?
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
So they looked at me again, even though they've had all the trainings and stuff. I go, "This is me. You got to sign." Okay. The signature's not going to work. I'm doing this on glass on an angle. The signature's not going to look the same. Okay.
Yeah, I had a similar experience yesterday morning.
So
voting
sure
at
enough,
Christchurch.
did it twice. Third time, and it went. Same with my wife. And I'm like, I know it's not your fault, guys, but somebody's got to speak up. This is right here. Right.
Well,
here.
here's the deal. This was the turnout in Lake County was just under 12%. It was 11.8 or 11.7. I can't remember now. I don't have it in front of me. That's the lowest turnout ever in a presidential primary election. Now, there's a reason, because both parties, the nominations had been wrapped up, right? Biden and Trump have both wrapped up the nominations before it came to Illinois. And particularly here in Lake County, there was literally nothing on the ballot that was contested other than one county board race in Waukegan, which is not our district. So there was nothing. So, I mean, I know a lot of people are like, why bother? Why go and vote? So it was just the faithful. And I was trying to get my numbers up on the delegate count a little, knowing that I'd lose, no, it was 5,000. You're looking, no, that's in Lake County, sir. There's more than
I'm talking about Lake County.
No, but in the 10th congressional district,
okay,
it was about 5,000 votes, because we go into Cook County, we go into McHenry County. So I got about 5,000 votes, which is actually more than I ever got when I won school board or village board elections, but clearly not enough. And look, I knew that going into that.
Well, let's talk about that.
Nikki
Congrats
Haley
on
was
5,000 votes. That and $5.
I won a precinct in Lake Forest, precinct 2, Shields 255. I won. I got the most votes. It's by Lake Forest College, that neighborhood around Lake Forest College. So I don't know if it's the college kids there.
That's the very east side of.
Yeah, I won the Velfers. Hey, thank you.
So let's go through the votes here. It's first of all, Joe Severino made a point. He got the most votes that he's ever gotten.
0.
No, he said
he wasn't on the ballot. How could he get any most votes he's ever gotten?
Whatever the write-in was, or
oh, please.
I'm just going with
the legend in his own mind.
Text. Okay, but then I'm looking at Schneider and Karras. Schneider has twice as many people voting in this thing than
well, there's always more people voting in the Democratic primary than the Republican primary, even when the Republicans win the general in the fall. Okay, if you go back to
same thing for
back to 2014. Yeah, I mean, go back to 2014, Pete, and Republicans like Bruce Rauner were winning, and county board races were winning here. And if you go back and look, more people still voted in the Democratic primary than the Republican primary. Yeah. So I don't count that much. That said, the Democrats have more of a base than the GOP, which is why, in my opinion, it's very important for the GOP to nominate candidates that can appeal to Democrats and independents. And if you look at the history of Republicans who've won here, those are the ones who've done that.
Big shout out to Michelle Calabrese, got the most votes on
Parnell.
Yeah.
She's alternate delegate. She's an alternate delegate.
What does that mean? If somebody takes down the first one,
if you get sick. So I went to a convention as staff about 10 years ago in Tampa, 2012. Basically, at the end of the day, the delegates and the alternate delegates all just sit on the same floor.
What do you do there? Do you
they nominate? They go to a bunch of parties. I mean, look, there was a time when the conventions truly decided who the nominees were. You go back and look at that. I think the last convention that had any drama on the floor with a vote was 1980 with Carter and Kennedy and the Democratic side. And Carter won on the floor against Ted Kennedy, and then got I think a lot of Democrats wish they'd nominated Kennedy instead after they saw how Carter got his clock cleaned by Reagan.
So it doesn't matter that Rinehart had twice the votes of Mary Cole.
No, and I think, look, I stand by what I've said before with all due respect to Donald Trump and his supporters who are very passionate, including our friends Michelle Parnell and Peggy Siebert, who got elected as a delegate here in the 10th and is the Ward 2 chair for the caucus. That Mary would do better with Nikki Haley at the top of the ticket than Donald Trump, just how the county played out. But that said, I've done took a look at a lot of the numbers. And I looked at the numbers from last night in some stuff, and she can still win this. Mary can still beat Rinehart. Now let me tell you how. 4 years ago, when Trump lost Lake County and Rinehart won, Trump lost by 20 points. Mike Neerheim lost to Rinehart only by like 2 or 3. So there was a lot of people that split their ticket between Joe Biden and Mike Neerheim, the Republican. So I suspect that there will be a lot of people here in Lake County that will vote for Biden or whoever the Democratic nominee is if Biden doesn't make it to the finish line, but will then split their ticket for Eric Rinehart. And here's why I say that, not just because of what happened 4 years ago, but also yesterday in Cook County in the Democratic primary, the Kim Foxx-backed candidate, this Clayton Harris III, as of this morning, Wednesday morning, he's losing. It's very close, and it could still turn around the other way. But the fact that he's even fighting in Cook County in a Democratic primary tells me that a lot of people, not just Republicans, are upset about crime. Okay? I have said so many times on this show that the two biggest issues are crime and taxes. Okay? And people are fed up with this Safety Act. Well, it does look like it to me based on what I saw. People are voting out. Democrats are voting against these policies in their own primary in a blue county like Cook. So now move up north to Lake County, which, yeah, it's a Democratic leaning county now, but it's not as blue as Cook. Combined with all the other stuff going on, Mary's got a great shot here. There is a lot of stuff that
How
I
does
think
she have, unless she's going to give out jobs, how is she?
The state's attorney doesn't. Well, look at all the turnover of jobs in the Lake County State's Attorney's office. He fired all the prosecutors when he took over and hired a bunch of left-wing public defender socialist types.
Wait, are you telling me a lawyer is a
left-winger? There's some right-wing lawyers.
What percentage?
7 of them on the Supreme Court, on the U.S. Supreme Court, but or 6. The data, though, I'm telling you, Pete, there are a lot of, I've talked to a lot of people here who are independents or even Democrats that are very, very troubled by Eric Rinehart and Kim Foxx and the Safety Act. Okay, and I've said before, I don't view this as a partisan issue. The Will County State's Attorney is a Democrat, and he is against this Safety Act. Okay, and there's only 2 state's attorneys in the whole state of 102 counties that supported it. Kim Foxx, she's out, and her handpicked successor is losing in the Democratic primary, and Eric Rinehart. And I'm telling you, Mary Cole has a great shot.
19,000 votes. Rinehart
doesn't matter. Okay, go back and look, Pete, at Republicans who've won general elections and go look at their primary ballot count versus the Democrat they beat. And there's plenty of cases, Pete, where the Democrat got way more votes in the primary than the Republican, but the Republican was able to get the crossover votes
on a state's attorney.
Winning a primary. Sure, I bet you when Neerheim won in 2016, in spite of Trump being on the top of the ticket in 2016. You go back and look at how many ballots cast in the Republican primary for Mike Neerheim versus whatever Democrat he beat in 2016.
We should do that.
Right? I'm telling you, I've got plenty. There's plenty, because I've said this before. Winning Republican primaries and winning general elections are becoming very mutually exclusive things. Okay, I will go to my grave thinking that Nikki Haley would get more votes in the general election than Donald Trump, but you can't be in the general election until you win the primary. And the problem we have now is our primaries are such that we're nominating a lot of unelectable people, like Trump here on the North Shore. He may win elsewhere, but he ain't going to win here. And Darren Bailey 2 years ago, though, thankfully the people came to their senses and voted him out against Mike Boss. But I'm telling you, but Pete, listen to me here.
Yeah.
So there's no correlation anymore between Republican primary results and general election results? 0. So
Okay.
I don't care that Rinehart got more votes in the primary than in his primary than Cole.
Educate
I don't care about that.
the dumb guy in the bar, which is me, when I go in to Gorton Center, and the first thing you say, you Republican or Democrat?
Well, they had me just check a box on the screen. They didn't ask me. They used to, but it used to be, look, I grew up in a heavily Democratic area, right? Skokie, we used to call it the People's Republic of Skokie. And you'd go in and they'd yell, Democrat or Republican? And, and I'd say, Republican? And they, Republican! That's a scarlet letter in Cook County or in Skokie. But
as I may continue with my story, Joe, so they go in there, Republican. Okay. So you get the thing. Well, after you get your signature, verified, good luck. You're the handwriting expert. God, is that stupid?
That's going to be a disaster this fall. I'm going to tell you that right now.
But what I don't understand is, unless you do nonpartisan, like I want to vote for Vega, I want to vote for Holly Kim.
Well, first of all, Holly Kim wasn't on the ballot yesterday at all.
No, I know,
Her
but
term was up. And Vega was not on the ballot as county clerk. That term expires in 2 years, but he was on the ballot as a Biden delegate.
Yeah.
So I suppose you could have voted for him, though I don't see you voting for any Biden delegates, but maybe you would have for Anthony.
But I'm just saying, I'm using them as an example.
You can't do that. You've never been able to do that in Illinois, where you can go between the two parties' primaries. You've never been able to do that. And I don't think you can do that because they don't want people from the other party. You could do a lot of serious damage. Because here's what happened. I would go in. If I could vote in either primary and nobody would know, and I could go back and forth like that, like in 2020, Trump was going to be the Republican nominee, but there was still a contest for president.
How do you vote for the best person?
Let me finish it.
Doesn't make sense.
But 2020, I would have voted, if I could have voted in the Democratic primary, for Bernie Sanders. Not because I believe in a thing Bernie Sanders says, but I want to do to the Democrats what they're doing to us, and that's nominate unelectable people to on the extreme end of the spectrum. Okay, if JB Pritzker is going to spend $35 million helping nominate people like Darren Bailey and be open about it, saying we want the face of the GOP to be these right wingers that can't win general elections, I want to be able to do the same thing in the Democratic primary. I want to be able to get the face of the Democrats to be Bernie Sanders and AOC and some of these other people that just cannot win the general election. Okay, if we're going to play that, so that's why they don't let you do that, because they know that people like me would then nefariously vote for the most unelectable person.
What if you do nonpartisan?
If you could have taken a nonpartisan ballot yesterday, but the only thing that would have come up on your ballot was the aldermanic election, which was uncontested.
So then I couldn't vote for Trump or Biden.
Nope.
Huh.
You have to declare a party in the now years ago, and in other states still, you have to register. You'd have to register as a Republican, a Democrat, or an independent. So if you live in Florida, when you register to vote in Florida, you check Republican, Democrat, or independent. And if you check Republican, you can vote in Republican primaries. If you check Democrat, you can vote in Democrat primaries. If you check independent, you can only vote in the general elections. Okay, they have much stricter ballot access laws. Here, we do allow you each year to choose between the Democrat and Republican primary. It becomes a matter of public record. So that's why a lot of people go look at people's primary ballot history to see, because you kind of get some tendencies. Though I know a lot of people that take Democratic primary ballots and then vote Republican. But you would have to change and I'm telling you, the politicians that run this state will never allow that, because they don't want people like me going into the other party's primary and voting for the unelectable candidates.
Okay. So look, it's all about the best person. So if the general election comes up, can I vote for Holly Kim and Vega? Never?
This year? Oh, yeah, general election, you're free to vote for whoever you want if they're on the ballot. Now, they won't be on the ballot this year, but yeah.
Okay, I know,
in,
but if
in
they're
2024, yes, in the general election,
as a Republican, I can vote for them.
Doesn't matter. Whatever you do in the primary has zero to do with the
Okay.
general election.
Okay, got it.
So
Okay.
you can split your ticket, and a lot of people do. Like I said a minute ago, Donald Trump lost Lake County by 20 points. Mike Neerheim beat Eric Rinehart by only 3 points. So there were a lot of people, thousands of people, not enough, that split their ticket between Biden and Mike Neerheim, the Republican. And Mark Kirk, Bob Dole, all those guys got a lot of ticket splitters. That's why they won. And that's why I think we should nominate Republicans like them so we can win more general elections again.
Okay. That's all I got.
You're all flustered.
Well, no, it's some of the stuff that we were worried about happening. Once you see it, I mean, it happened to you and it happened to me.
Signature. Yeah, my deal was I'm registered to vote as Joe Weiss. Okay, because I think when I first ran for office, there was a rule that said your registration had to match what you put on the ballot. So I didn't want to run as Joseph H. Weiss. I ran as Joe Weiss because that's what everybody knows me as. But
they would have played at Highland Park.
But when I played in Skokie, sir, but somehow they still have on the computer here it was at Christchurch, because that's where my polling place was. But here in Lake County, 38 years later, I registered to vote in 1987. So do the math, 37 years ago, that signature of Joseph H. Weiss when I first registered was what they had on the screen yesterday. And they're like, so the judges came over and they're like, can you sign Joseph H. Weiss instead of Joe Weiss? I'm like, sure. And they're like, okay. Because the two judges ruled that it matched. Otherwise, I would have been a provisional ballot.
So everybody out there, get the mail-in ballot. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, but Pete, the thing is, they have judges that sit and do that at the election office. Same thing. They got to sit and compare the signatures. So you won't see it, but they will go through it. And the problem you might have is the two judges at my polling place yesterday got together, the Republican and Democrat judge, and looked at it and said, okay, sign Joseph H. instead of Joe, and you're good. Okay. That might not happen in an election office in Waukegan. I don't know. But that's why I think you should just go with the ID. All right. That would eliminate all this stuff, but that they consider that racist because apparently some people can't have an ID or poor people can't have an ID. So it's against the poor, which is nonsense. I think
then
you have to have an ID to get on an airplane. You have to have an ID to do
cross the border.
Well, I don't know about that. You have to have an ID to do virtually everything.
I don't need no stinking papers.
And even if you don't own a car and don't have a driver's license, you can go to the Secretary of State's office and get a plain ID. It's not a driver's license, an actual ID at no charge. So it's not a poor issue or any poverty issue or any of that nonsense, or you don't own a car, you don't know how to drive a car, or whatever. Everyone can have an ID, and I think everyone should have an ID to vote. I'm going to take the very conservative position on that one. That
not conservative, it's common sense.
Yeah, common sense. I agree. I think somehow they've played this into trying to keep poor people from voting in Georgia and all this nonsense, and it's nonsense. I mean,
hey man, when you get your food stamps, do you need an ID for food stamps?
Don't know. Never had them.
What do you say? Hey,
it's not stamps anymore now. Now it's the
card. I know the card, yeah, but I'm just saying the EBT card.
The link card. Named after former state senator Terry Link, who Prue Beidler gave money to before he went to jail.
Just saying, you need an ID for that? That would be... You see how stupid this stuff is?
You're preaching to the choir,
right now. So this podcast is over. I'm going to go to the government site and see what I need to do to get a food stamp. Because if you just look at the money that I make from this podcast, I would more than qualify.
Don't you have to show like all your past assets that you made back at Career Builder? Or
I got
don't know.
nothing.
Well, you're going to have nothing after you get your property tax bill next month. I'll tell you that right now. Thanks, Matt Montgomery.
Matt and Jack, come back on the show. We got some more explaining to do. They'll only come out. Well, you know what? They'll reach out. When is that?
They'll be back before the school board election. I know
it. All right, Joe. Another great episode of the Lake Forest podcast. Say hello to everybody at Ravinia Brewing. I understand you'll be stopping.
Yeah, Newcomers Club is going to have a great evening there. Go see our friend Mr. Hoobler support a small business. Though I love going to the small businesses here. I think Jeff Urso feels a little. He must feel a little left out with you doing all this stuff with Ravinia now. I think you got to give Urso some love here on the show again.
He understands the reason, and if he was in a bind, we'd help out. That's what we're here for. Joseph P. Weiss,
H. Joseph Henry
L. Bye.
The Lake Forest podcast is supported by viewers, listeners, and businesses just like you. Looking for the best pool supplies? Look no further than Dohany's Pool Supplies. With a history dating back to 1967, this family-owned business offers everything families need to keep their pools clean and sparkling, from chemicals to equipment. Plus, customers enjoy free shipping on all orders. Visit Dohany's Pool Supplies today at doheny.com, DOHENY.com, to learn more. Broker Michelle Parno has lived and worked in Lake Forest for over 2 decades. Michelle's lending experience, when combined with her real estate expertise, makes her an invaluable asset to her clients as they navigate their home buying or selling process. Call Michelle now at 847-528-8721, 847-528-8721. For the best cannabis in the world, look no further than Iliad Epic Grow. Owned by Lake Bluff's own Rich Ruzich, they are a cannabis cultivation center focusing on hard-to-find small batch products that will delight both the occasional user and ganjier. When visiting Michigan, ask for it by name. Epic Products, exceptional process. For more information, email info@iliadgrow.com. Laracy & Company CPAs, founded in 2010 by Lake Forest's own Brian Laracy, specializes in tax preparation and bookkeeping services. Earning the People Love Us on Yelp award, their process is straightforward. Just upload, review, and file. For a free quote, visit LaracyCPA.com now. That's LARISEYCPA.com. I'm excited to share with you something special from our Lake Forest community, the Aesthetic Lounge Med Spa, located at 775 North Bank Lane in Lake Forest near Wisconsin Avenue. This just isn't any spa. They offer an amazing blend of traditional spa services, plus the added benefit of medical procedures and treatments. In a relaxing and luxurious spa environment, you can enjoy a range of cosmetic and aesthetic treatments. These are all performed under the supervision of top medical professionals. The Aesthetic Lounge Med Spa provides skin care, facial rejuvenation, body contouring, laser hair removal, Botox, dermal fillers, chemical peels, and much more. What's great is that each treatment is tailored not just to enhance your appearance, but also to address specific skin concerns and to promote overall well-being. So if you're looking to pamper yourself and take your beauty routine to the next level, give the Aesthetic Lounge Med Spa a call at 224-768-8028 or visit them at their location on North Bank Lane. It's an experience your skin will thank you for.